Hi, my name is Matthew Studebaker. I am a professional wildlife and nature photography tour leader, and today I wanted to tell you about a Costa Rica trip we are doing this fall. Normally I pair up with a couple of photographers, Jeff Munoz and John Crawley, to lead the trip, but this year I'm doing a smaller trip to some unique locations, and we'll be doing more field work than usual, which is a passion of mine. I love just going out into the woods and listening for birds and calling them in and trying to get them in their natural habitat. It often gives you the opportunity to shoot through some foreground elements rather than just having a bird on a perch near a feeder, which is also really good. We're going to be doing some of that. But we're going to start off the trip by going into the field and looking for trogons, motmots, manakins, and some others. After our initial fieldwork sessions, we're going to go by boat and look for some water birds, including kingfishers, tiger herons, and maybe some raptors. It's really fun cruising around the river. We often see crocodiles and are able to get relatively close to a lot of birds that probably wouldn't allow such a close approach by foot. I also really like finding birds near shadows of the forest where the bird just kind of emerges and is bright enough, there's some light on it, but the dark forest is behind the bird, and it just creates almost studio quality to the image where the bird is just emerging from a shadow. So hopefully we'll be doing some of that. And then we're going to spend some time at a canopy lodge. In that elevation, we'll be looking for hummingbirds and tanagers mostly, but anything that comes to the feeder, honey creepers, toucans, toucanettes would be great. Hummingbirds, what I've really enjoyed the last few years is doing less multi-flash, where you have a fake backdrop and lots of flashes around the hummingbirds to freeze their wings. I am relatively okay when we can get away with it, having a little bit of wing blur, as long as it doesn't look like the bird is just a floating body in the air. But to have some natural light and get it on some natural vegetation in the area too. Sometimes we can also put up some flowers, like potted flowers, and put some nectar in the flowers, and then put that in the area near the feeders where we want the birds. But overall, I think it ends up being a more natural look. And sometimes we actually just photograph the birds, the hummingbirds, as they land on little perches in the surrounding area as well. After the canopy lodge, we'll be doing some feeder sessions in the mid-elevation, looking for parrots, toucans. It's amazing what comes to the feeders at the mid-elevations. Some things that normally live in the US but are down in Costa Rica for the winter or in migration, for example, Baltimore orioles, scarlet tanager, summer tanager. And then after that, our final sessions will be with quetzals and hummingbirds at higher elevation. At the highest elevation, they have some of the most beautiful hummingbird species. The bird that everyone has to see is the resplendent quetzal. They are doing an amazing program in Costa Rica right now, where there are several lodges and local guides who have partnered up with local farmers who harvest avocados or plant avocado trees, which is the quetzal's favorite food. And essentially the local farmers call in the guides or the lodges and tell them when there's a quetzal in the area, and in return the guides or lodge will pay the farmer for that information and the right to photograph on their land. And it's a great symbiotic relationship. And then of course the photographers go with the guide to go find the quetzals. So it should be a really great trip, and we have a couple spots left, and I'd love to have you join if we still have space available.